Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm FlipArtz and welcome back to a brand new Fortnite video. And I know I'm quite late on getting this particular topic for this video out for you guys, but better late than never. And I'm going to be trying my best here to start getting these videos out for you guys regularly as well, along with regular content. But let's just say that there is a project for a new channel that I've been working on low-key, so keep an eye out for that. But you know, if you know, you know. But with that out of the way, today we're back here on Fortnite to help you guys out with the new Jungle Hunter quests, or basically your predator challenges. Now there's 9 challenges for you guys to complete, and they're all fairly easy to do, but of course require you to have certain things completed so that you guys can actually complete them all in total, but we'll get into that as we go. So starting off with the first challenge, it'll be to find a mysterious pod, and to complete this challenge you'll want to head over to Stealthy Stronghold, and the mysterious pod will be found in the top left portion of this area, as you guys can see here in the gameplay that I'm going to be heading to. And from here, by landing just relatively near it, you'll have completed this challenge, which will reward you with a banner icon that looks like the predator's head. Now moving into the second challenge, it'll be to talk with Beef Boss, Remedy, and Dummy, and this challenge is pretty simple, but also not too far from where you're actually landing at Stealthy Stronghold. So just outside of Stealthy Stronghold and actually north of Pleasant Park, you can actually find all 3 of these NPCs or characters just several feet apart from each other. And however, as you guys can see here in the gameplay, I was lucky enough to have Beef Boss and Dummy spawn nearby, but since, as you guys know by now, Beef Boss, Remedy, and Dummy all have more than one location that they can spawn in during your matches. So again, I was lucky enough to talk to both Beef Boss and Dummy here, but not lucky enough to have Remedy spawn as well. But as you guys can see here in the next clip, I do come back the following match and was able to finish off the challenge by revisiting Remedy in her spawn building here. But as well as in this clip, you guys can see that after this, I was lucky enough, if we were to say that this was going to be my first encounter for actually trying to complete this challenge, I am able to see both Beef Boss and the Dummy are actually nearby as well, having all 3 of them there. So if you guys don't see them there, don't worry, you guys can always try to go to different locations in the same match that you guys are in if you guys have time, and of course if your circle allows you guys to go there, or just come back the next match. But by completing this challenge, you'll have unlocked a Plasma Caster Reticle emoticon. Now on to the third challenge. This challenge is simple as well and very straightforward. This challenge is to collect medkits, and to complete this challenge you'll need to collect 3 medkits. Now something you need to note about collecting medkits for this challenge though that I found is that collecting medkits will only count if they were already on the ground as ground loot or coming from chests or supply drops. So this means that if you happen to eliminate a player or find loot from an eliminated player where a medkit happens to be, this will not count towards completing the challenge. But once you guys do complete this challenge, you'll be rewarded with a spray called Heat Vision Hunter. Now continuing on to the fourth challenge, this challenge is going to be to collect legendary weapons or rarer, and to complete this challenge you'll only need to collect 1 legendary or rare weapon. I found that if you want a fairly quick way to complete this challenge, you can try to find any available NPCs during your match and location that you're in that allow you to upgrade your weapons, and if you have a lot of gold bars like myself, you can just spam upgrading your weapons all the way to legendary, and that will easily and quickly complete this challenge. Or if you're lucky enough, you can find an opponent who happens to do that for you. You can eliminate them and then take their legendary weapon or rare weapon if they have one on them to complete this challenge. So once you guys have completed that, you will be rewarded with a loading screen called The Hunt. Now moving along to the 5th challenge, this one can be pretty annoying to deal with until you actually find him, and so this challenge is to defeat the Predator himself. So the Predator will spawn in the Stealthy Stronghold as well, and I found that he happens to be relatively close to his mysterious pod as well. So when you guys are actually doing the first challenge for this quest line, you guys can actually find him here as well, so you guys can actually kind of like knock out a couple of these challenges all in a single match if you're lucky enough and you're not being bothered by other players that happen to land here as well. But he happens to be near his mysterious pod for the most part when I was doing these challenges. He also walks or runs around the area, but he's going to be cloaked in his invisibility. However, when he does move, you can see the distortion between him and the area around him while he moves, so that's going to be something that you're going to want to note as well. Another thing that you're going to want to note to make things easier for finding him is there is a music cue that plays to let you know that he's actually pretty close to where you are located, but the biggest clue is that you can get to know he's around is if you're just listening for the growl that he lets out. It's a very specific noise, so if you guys are hearing that, just start making your way towards that audio cue and you guys should be able to find him. And so once you guys do find him, or if he does find you, he'll start running at you while he is invisible and will only come out of it once he decides to try to attack you. And once he does try to attempt to hit you guys a few times, he will jump away and try to get distance from you so that he can go invisible again, and then it's going to be rinse and repeat on him trying to run at you and attack you again, jumping away and going back to be invisible. He, in my opinion though, is a lot easier to deal with as a boss than Chuggis in The Mandalorian, but that's just my opinion. The only thing is that he does tend to jump around and run away, so you do have to make sure you do have enough ammo on you to take him out in that time. And so once you guys have defeated him, this will have completed the challenge, which will award you the Predator skin itself. Now, all the challenges moving forward for this is going to require you guys to have the Predator skin on and active, but I will have to mention this every single time just to get that clear and through every time we are talking about a new challenge. But moving on to the 6th challenge here, it's going to be to complete a bounty as Predator, and as the challenge says, and like I just mentioned, you need to be the Predator to complete this challenge. Now, this challenge again is pretty self-explanatory. However, for this challenge, you don't need to actually worry about completing the bounty as you'd expect as being the Predator, but if being the bounty is active and it ends up being poached, just like here in the gameplay, I was actually going to go to actually find this guy and kill him myself, but it was poached, but it still counts towards completing the challenge. And once you guys complete this challenge, you'll be rewarded with the Predator's back bling called Hunter's Trophy. Now, moving on to the 7th challenge, it'll be to visit the Predator's apartment in Hunter's Haven as Predator. And so again, this challenge is another challenge where you're going to need to make sure you have the Predator skin active as you play your match. To find the Predator's apartment though in Hunter's Haven, it'll be the apartment most east of Hunter's Haven, as you guys can see here in the gameplay. And once you guys enter the doors of the apartment itself, you'll have completed this challenge, and with that you'll have unlocked Predator's built-in emote as your reward called Bio Helmet Online. So continuing on to the 8th challenge, this will require you to have the Predator skin on, of course, and this challenge will be to spend 30 seconds within 10 meters of another player as Predator. Now, I found this challenge to be honestly quite easy, since as you guys are able to see here in the gameplay, simply just having a build battle and an engagement with another player should be more than enough time to cover the 30 seconds. However, because I'm a scuffed builder and editor, I'm not able to do all the fancy edits and end fights in record 10 seconds or less, which works out actually in my favor for this challenge because I'm able to waste 30 seconds or more to get this challenge completed. And don't worry, as bad as I am and as bad as all my edits are and me trying to get around to get this battle done, I do end up winning this fight. But once you guys have completed this challenge, you'll be rewarded with the Predator's harvesting tool called Yaja Wrist Blades. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually how it's pronounced because I can't seem to find the proper way to actually say it, because everyone I know and everything that I've seen online, everyone's saying it differently. So if you guys know how to say it, let me know how you guys pronounce it down in the comments below. And now finally, moving on to our 9th and final challenge. This challenge will be to deal damage while thermal is active as Predator, and to complete this challenge you'll need to deal 100 damage to another player while thermal is active and as Predator. Now again, like I said, this challenge is going to require you guys to be as Predator, so make sure you guys do have that active or this will not be completed even if you guys end up doing all the steps. But this challenge can actually be a little bit confusing, especially if you've never really watched any of the Predator movies or, you know anything about Predator itself. But for this challenge, the thermal being active as Predator means to fish for a thermal fish and then eat it, which would activate the thermal being similar to how Predator sees in the movies. So as you guys can see here in the gameplay, I'm fishing for a thermal fish, and the biggest thing about this challenge is not just only finding a thermal fish, but also having it, finding some enemy players, and then activating it, and then hoping to deal damage while you have the thermal active. And of course, if you're a skilled player, this should be a no problem thing for you guys to complete. But if you're like me, it could be a little bit of a struggle unless you can harness your inner Predator and stalk your prey like a Predator should. And you guys can see here in the gameplay, and then deal damage from an unsuspecting angle to an unsuspected player and then take them out, or at least, deal a lot of damage if you guys can. Now there might be some delay before it does pop up as completed on your screen. As you guys can see here, it doesn't pop up for a while, even though I've done all and more enough damage for this challenge. But don't worry, once you guys have dealt at least over 100 damage to an enemy player, you'll be good to go to complete this challenge. And so once you guys have completed this challenge, you'll be rewarded with your last and final reward, which is a wrap called Hunter's Arsenal. And with all of that said, you'll have completed all 9 of your available challenges for the Jungle Hunters quests, or simply called your Predator challenges. And if you guys are looking for more guides, such as all the updated locations for your character collections, or how to complete all of your Beskar quests, are also known as the Mandalorian challenges, I have them here on the channel and more to help you guys out and to enjoy as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you guys were helped out by it, and if it did, consider dropping a like, as I do work hard on providing you guys with amazing Fortnite content, as well as consider subscribing and turning on notifications by hitting the bell icon next to the subscribe button. That way you guys don't miss out when I upload new videos here on the channel. And like I mentioned earlier, there is a second channel in the works, a little low-key, something you may or may not have seen before in the YouTube space, but you know, keep an eye out for things on Twitter or Instagram, or just here on the channel as well. You might be able to go find the link for it when it's going live. You don't want to miss out when that happens. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you on the flip side. Arts out.